is actually off. Is it? Yeah, I just... What's up, guys? Today we're talking about nutrition. Brent's in the background working out, so he's rolling out his adductors at the moment. So it's kind of a funny picture for you guys, but we're going to kind of wait a little bit, get some people in on the call, or in on the live feed. So if you're just joining and this is already run through and it's not live anymore, just go ahead and skip forward a little bit to where we're actually talking. But we're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about some of the lies that you have had shoved down your throat over and over and over and over by fitness magazines, just the fitness industry in general, the nutrition industry, the fast food industry, the dining industry, you know. Thanks, man. Thanks, brother. Dude, it's good to meet you this weekend. If you guys are just getting here, go ahead and comment at the bottom. Go ahead and comment in and say hi. Please share. Robert Sislow in the house. What's going on, man? So go ahead and comment, say hi. Please share the feed. If you like the message that we are putting out, if you hate the message that we're putting out, I don't care. Just put it out. I don't care if you hate or if you love. Please push it forward. What we do, everything that we do here is to inspire others to experience their life the way they want to live it. So to me, it's all about the experience and what we get right here, right now. Not to get outrageously deep on you, but I like going deep on subjects. I think it's way more fun. I think people could really use a good dose of hitting the depth of their soul, sort of thing. Taking subjects and instead of going wide with every subject, really going deep on one. So when you're talking about like what do you get to take when you go to whatever if you believe in an afterlife, or what do you get to take? What do you get to have in this life other than the experience that you're living right here, right now? You know, to me that is the show. That is the whole thing. I got to move this real quick, guys. That is the whole show. That is the deal. Everything that is the experience you're having right here, right now. Still telling your friends. I'm going to share this on my feed because that's how social media works. An event, sharing a private message. I'm going to try this. I don't know everything about Facebook yet, but I'm slowly figuring it out. Yeah. Got it, man. Thanks, man. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is nutrition. And tech. It's not my deal. You guys might notice I'm a little bit red. We were at a conference this weekend, and someone thought it was a good idea to forget their sunblock in the room. So we rushed to the boat. We jumped on the boat after the conference was over, and then I had to deal with the repercussions of my stupid actions. The first time I actually got burned, I was 19. It was in Florida. We were down there playing baseball. That sucked. Vowed I'd never get burned again. Look where I am. But what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about nutrition and some of the lies that you're told. And one of the biggest ones I hear on a very regular basis is 6 meals per day. 6 meals per day. I mean, if you want to do 6 meals per day, go for it. I mean, like, I'm not going to stop you, but logistically, this just doesn't make any sense at all. There's no sense at all. It's really hard to do. Believe me, I've done this before. I've done the 6 meals a day thing. It's difficult. You're constantly. There we go. When you're doing 6 meals a day, your life revolves around food. I mean, our lives kind of revolve around food anyway because we're mammals. We're not reptiles that can eat one week and not eat the next week. We need to be constantly putting food in our body because the amount of blood flow that we have and the heat that we're putting off, it requires us to put food in their mouths on a very regular basis. Otherwise, our body temperature couldn't stay as high as it does. So because of that, we've got to eat pretty much all the time. Now, there are some fallacies around this, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if fallacy is the right word, but there's some lies around this. Like your body can survive an extremely long period of time without eating food. It can't survive very long without water. It's going to die real quick if there's no water. If there's no food, you can survive an extremely long period of time. Like Gandhi not eating for whatever it was, 28 days or whatever, your body can survive that long. For real, your body can survive that long. You can actually go 2 days. You can go 48 hours before your body starts to catabolize. If you look at intermittent fasting, which I think is a very good thing for a lot of people, I look at it a little bit different than most people do. I usually look at it as behavioral modification. So if we're going to do intermittent fasting, it's more about noticing how often we're putting food in our mouth. If we're putting food in our mouth constantly and unconsciously eating, we're going to eat too many calories, get too much food in our stomach, and we're going to gain fat, right? So that's no good. But if we're supposed to not eat for a certain period of time, like let's say we're not going to eat till 4 p.m., then we get to, every single time that people put some food in their mouth, they're going to go, oh my gosh, like I made the agreement that I wasn't supposed to, I didn't even realize that I was eating. It's an awareness thing. So that's how I use intermittent fasting with people here at the gym. Now, with intermittent fasting, males are usually, like research would show that males are going to respond to intermittent fasting a little bit better than females. You know, testosterone is kind of an amazing thing in a lot of ways. I think, like based on our video yesterday, I definitely think that we lose out on the on the scenario, though. I think that women have there's pros and cons to each side, right? Like I wouldn't want to be a female, but at the same time, they get to do some pretty cool stuff. You're going to see Brent pop around in the background. He's getting his workout in. You might not on Instagram. I don't know. You guys might be missing out, but we're going to do these videos live every day at 12:30. We're going to do these live. So if you guys want to pop on around 12:30, you're gonna hear me talk a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about recovery, a little bit about mindset, and a little bit about exercise. You know, that's how I encompass all of health. And so right now we're on nutrition. And I kind of gone off on a tangent on intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, I think, is blown up into something that it doesn't need to be. Like, for instance, if you ate dinner at 8 p.m., which is totally fine, the 7 p.m. rule is another one of those dumb lies. I'm actually going to write that one down because, I find myself almost being like a collector of marketing nonsense. But the 7 p.m. rule is also bullshit. Like you could eat at midnight, you could eat at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't see the difference between 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Just shared. Thanks, man. Hey, you're right here.
Hey, I'm right here.
Technology, man.
How'd you know?
I love it. I love it. Enough to say it twice. But yeah, if we're talking about intermittent fasting, if you ate at 8 p.m. and then you woke up at 5:30, you ate again at 6. You know, what is that? That's 4, and that's 6. I mean, that's a 10-hour fast right there. You know. There is something to be said for the intermittent fasting with your insulin sensitivity. It does help with that, which is a really good thing. But also something to think about with the 6 meals a day. 6 meals a day isn't necessarily good for your insulin sensitivity. So that's something that we want to take into account. If you're just coming on here, say hi. Say hi in the feed below. I really like interacting. Like yesterday, the conversation that we had rolling, it was awesome. Yeah, people were commenting there. I think there was 27 comments during the 20-minute or maybe 40-minute. I'm pretty sure it was 40-minute deal that we had going. So please comment below. Share the feed if you can. Get your friends in on this. The more I think that we talk about this kind of stuff and bring it out in the open, especially with somebody who actually has studied this stuff for an extremely long period of time, I think that we can kind of get a little bit more clear. Because the main message here is, you know, what are the nutritional lies put out there into people's heads on a daily basis? And you know, you hear 6 meals a day, you hear finish your plate, you hear guilt as a motivator. You know, there's starving kids in Africa, you got to eat that. You know, that's something that got put into your head that is complete bogus. And it's not good. I think we're seeing the result of that with You know, I mean, a lot of people are struggling with obesity. A lot of people are developing diabetes, you know. There is genetic diabetes, no doubt about that, but like the number of people that actually get later in life that they develop diabetes because of genetic thing is really, really tiny. I mean, tiny. So almost everybody is getting diabetes because they earned it. And that's not something you want to earn. That drastically affects the rest of your life. Not only that, but we're talking pregnant women yesterday. Women who have a kid and then keep the weight on that they gained for the next kid, that next kid has a drastically increased risk of having diabetes as well. So it's something that we want to think about. It's a real deal. This is a very serious topic, the nutrition thing. I think it can be fairly lighthearted. I think that everything that's serious can also be funny and fun. So we can talk about anything here. But you know, one of the reasons that I even wanted to do this video, I harp on this. I harp on nutrition a lot, and I say things like, everybody already knows how to eat. Everybody knows that a Snickers isn't as good as an apple. You know, everybody knows to eat their vegetables. Everybody knows to not stuff themselves silly. Everybody knows all these things, but why don't they do them? So I say motivation is much more important than the actual knowledge of. But you know, this weekend I was having a conversation with Rachel, and she was telling me about this radio broadcast she listened to, where somebody called in to complain, and this woman was dead serious, that she did not understand why they would put the deer crossing on a busy highway. Why wouldn't they put the deer crossing somewhere else where there's less traffic? Serious. And at first the guy thought she was joking, like not me thinking Rachel was joking. The what do you call them, DJs? The DJ thought that the woman was joking, but she wasn't joking. She was dead serious. I mean, that's hilarious, right? This woman really thinks that that's where the deer are supposed to cross, and that's why those deer crossing signs are there. So I mean, that's how I think maybe it's possible that's how clueless some people really are around nutrition. And if that's the case, then that's really sad. And the other thing that got me going on this was how often I hate on Hot Pockets. It's just something I hear on a regular basis, you know, like Hot Pockets, Pop-Tarts, you know, like I just don't even get it. But Hot Pockets is the funny one because there's a regular Hot Pocket and then there's a lean Hot Pocket. And every once in a while, someone will come in here and be like, yeah, I switched to lean Hot Pockets. And I'm like, no. That's dumb. Like, I don't tell them that's dumb, but it's just, come on. Come on. It can't be that dense. But maybe the world is that dense, so that's why we're making this video. So 6 meals a day, you do not have to eat 6 meals a day to lose fat. 6 meals a day is probably more of a recipe to gain fat. I mean, I think the majority of the reason that 6 meals a day actually came to be was because research found that when you eat, your metabolism goes up. No duh. I mean, I bet you spend more money on the week that you get paid than you do the last day of the month, you know? So your metabolism goes up when you eat, but it also only rises to the level of the occasion. So if I have, let's say I eat a meal this big, well, my metabolism is going to rise this much. Let's say I have a meal this big, my metabolism is going to rise this much. So it doesn't really matter. Not only that, but the logistics of eating 6 meals a day it's horrendous. I've done it. I've been there. It's you're constantly carrying around food. You're constantly looking for food. You end up eating foods that you don't really want to eat because you're so bent on this idea of you have to have more. You have to have more protein going into your body, and then from one of the points I like to make is like think of your teeth. We basically, most people brush their teeth in the morning, brush their teeth at night. They brush their teeth in the morning after they eat breakfast, and they brush their teeth at night sometime after they eat their last meal. You know, it's probably best if your dentist would probably tell you to brush your teeth at noon too, right after you eat, because what's going on with your teeth after you eat and that acid just sitting there and eating away is not good. So eating 6 meals a day isn't necessarily good for your teeth. It's also more of a recipe for athletes. So if you're a bodybuilder or you're trying to recover from your last practice, workout, whatever, you want to be delivering nutrients all the time. All day long, all the time, delivering nutrients because you're trying to recover faster so that you can do better in your next workout. So there's definitely reasons to do 6 meals a day, but they're weak, especially if you're trying to do fat loss. You know, like one of the biggest things with fat loss that nobody wants to talk about, that like apparently Grit Gym is the only one that wants to talk about things that actually work for people, and that's because we're willing to talk about the things that are really hard. I'm trying to sell you on the idea that you got to do all the hard stuff and you will reap all the rewards. So one of the things you got rid of is this idea that hunger is bad. Hunger is not bad. Hunger is an extremely good thing. You got to get comfortable being hungry. If you look and you interview people like French people, they don't get a really good reputation, but in the nutrition world, they have an extremely strong culture around food. French people do a really good job of they only eat basically 3 times a day with maybe one snack in the afternoon, maybe. So. And they're more about experiencing their food. So when we're talking about nutrition, one of the things that I'm really trying to get across is be extremely present with your food. You want to be present with your food. Nature is very, very smart. Nature is a genius. Nature basically made every single thing that was necessary for survival our greatest pleasure. So think of what it takes for a species to survive. People this might make some people squirm or whatever, but sex, competition, food. The species has to reproduce. The species has to survive by fight or flight. That's competition, you know. Or it's the same as watching cheap drama on TV, and then they have to eat. Those are our big pleasures. And people that don't think that competition is one of our biggest pleasures, then why are sports one of our biggest industries? People are willing to pay a ton of money to be able to participate in a sporting event, even if it's from the stands. So those are our 3 big pleasures, but they're also our 3 big survival mechanisms. You know, we get almost everything from those things. We do almost everything for those things. Our reptilian brain is hardwired us for that. That's way older than the higher brain that humans have, or the mammalian brain that all mammals have. It's the reptilian brain. It binds all organisms, basically, or all animals, I should say. But anyway, with food, you should be experiencing your food. You should taste every single bite. Like you should take that in. You should sit on it. You should experience it. It shouldn't be how fast can you get it in to move on to the next thing. Really, if you took your time with that food, I bet you'd have more time to do other things, because you'd be more present in everything that you did. You'd be able to consciously think through your day. But yeah, so what are some of the lies? You know, what are some of the lies? So we talked about the deer crossing, which I just think is hilarious. Like if even 10% of the world is that confused about nutrition as that lady is about the deer crossing, then we're in a world of hurt. We are in big trouble. And a lot of people want to blame like the marketers on this. Like, no doubt about it. Like research would show that when we see yellow and red colors, we associate those with hunger. So why do you think all the fast food chains are red and yellow? When the color green we associate with fresh, why do you think Subway is yellow and green? Those ingredients are not fresh. Those have been sitting in a plastic bag for 12 weeks until they got to your mouth. Or until they got to that bin that went onto an entire loaf of bread, had tons of mayonnaise thrown on top, and then hit your mouth. Yeah, and it's real good for you, right? Kind of kudos to Subway for convincing people that an entire loaf of bread is healthy, though. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, you can blame marketers on it, but if we didn't go out to eat at fast food restaurants, guess what wouldn't exist? They wouldn't exist. Like, the market exists because of us, not the other way around. We drive the market. The market doesn't drive us. You are 100% responsible for what goes into your mouth. Nobody else has any fault in that whatsoever. No one's putting a gun to your head and saying, you got to eat this. No matter what, you got to eat this. How long have we been going here? But yeah, some of the lies. Make sure that you guys please share the feed. It helps us out a ton. We don't charge for this. We don't make any money on this. We're just trying to help out as best as we possibly can. Like me, I want to we want to blow up. Grit Gym's got a really good message. We put out a lot of good material, all this content, please help us out. Share the feed. If you hate it, share it. If you love it, share it. If you hate to love it, comment below and tell me why. And if you just want to say nice things, that's cool with me too. But I need some haters. I need some love. So go ahead and share the feed, please. So we're responsible. So fast food exists because of us. What's the best way to get rid of fast food? Don't go. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't go to Hardee's. Don't go to, I don't even know what they all are anymore. Don't go eat fast food. Actually, the best thing you can probably do from a nutritional standpoint, stay home. Eat at home. Eat your food that you cook. It practices delayed gratification. Instant gratification is one of those things, like, I don't have a problem with instant gratification, but on some level, like, it is really healthy to practice delayed gratification. Oh no. It's extremely good to practice delayed gratification. So delayed gratification would be, I got to go to the store, I got to get the ingredients, I got to come home, I got to prepare the food, and then so all this time you're spending being hungry, then you got to put it in the oven or on the skillet or whatever, however you're cooking, and then you got to wait until you're ready to eat. You got to prepare it. Instead of, I go to a restaurant, sit in a restaurant, bullshit with somebody for a little bit, have a drink, then get my flatbread, eat that, which is actually just a pizza. I love when people try to justify that a flatbread isn't a pizza. It's a pizza. They eat the entire thing, and also that you don't have to do the dishes. It's a little silly. It's a pizza. You ate the whole thing. You didn't need the whole thing. You could have made something better at home, but you didn't. Why? You got to put in the work. One of the things with fat loss that I think a lot of people have a hard time with, the amount of action and the amount of work that you would have to put into the amount of kind of pain and anguish that you got to go through while you're hungry and you're tired and you're miserable and your body is going through an adjustment. And you have to fight through that. I say this all the time, but you got to do it anyway. You have to do it anyway. You've got all this stuff going against you. You've got, you're bombarded with marketing. I don't watch TV. I don't read the newspaper. I consume very little content. To me, I want to be producing the content. Everything out there is trying to brainwash you into their BS. You watch CNN, you watch ABC, you watch Fox. I don't really care. To me, they're like, you just fell in love with somebody else's garbage. They're all garbage, filling your head with nonsense that you do not need. Okay, and if I'm gonna be putting something, if I'm gonna get brainwashed, then you better believe I'm gonna control the brainwashing. So if you guys are just getting here, please share the feed. Just hit share, and then hit share, and then say why. You don't even have to say why. Just share it. If you hate it, share it. If you love it, share it. If you hate to love it, comment. Comment anyway. This is much more fun when it's interactive. But what were we just talking about? So we're talking about nutrition. Let's go on to guilt as a motivator. This is one of my favorite ones. Like guilt and shame. If you listen to Brene Brown, she'd make the statement that shame is different from guilt, and that guilt is a good motivator where shame is not. I don't really see the difference. They're both based on this fear of not being enough. I'm afraid that I'm not enough, so I felt guilty. I'm afraid that I'm not enough, so I felt shame. I hate to use the church thing, but church is just the easiest source of guilt that there is for me, at least. So you swore in your head during church, and so you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just swore in church. I'm a terrible person. What? Like you weren't a good enough person to be in church? Like, okay, so you think you made an error. What are you going to do about it? So you're not going to swear in church again. So guilt as a motivator just is really silly. And the number one way that I hear that happening, or that you see on TV and stuff, is that there's starving kids in Africa. Well, there might be starving kids in Africa, but the food that you don't eat on that plate is not going to Africa. It's going to your fat cells. The fat is on your body. You do not have to finish your plate. You do not have to finish your plate, and you do not have to fill kids' heads with the nonsense. It's silly. Guilt is an interesting topic. We'll get into that some other time. that's a hard one. That's a hard one to get on. People have a lot of trepidation around guilt. You're getting into some very serious, deep level belief structures there. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that or comments, please put them down below. It's way more fun to interact. I don't know how many people we have here now. I haven't quite figured out Facebook Live, or YouTube Live or Instagram. But yeah, 6 meals a day. So we got 6 meals a day. Finish your plate. Guilt as a motivator, and then who's actually responsible for the fast food industry? There's a really interesting thing about business, and they are all based on one thing: dollars. So if there's no dollars, there's no business. So if you are going to a fast food place, you're feeding what you're actually fighting against. So there's no possible reason that a fast food chain can exist if people aren't going to it. We are feeding the problem. We are responsible for it. It's us. It's on us. Your dollars are a vote for what you want to see in the world. So if you want to see less Tyson's chicken, which I would like to see less Tyson's chicken, you got to stop buying Tyson's chicken. You want to see more grass-fed beef, which I would like to see more grass-fed beef, real grass-fed beef. A lot of people want to hate on grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef is superior from almost every single, from an economical standpoint, it keeps things local. From an economical standpoint, it keeps things in the small farmer's hands. From a money standpoint, your dollars are actually going closer to that farmer that actually put in the work to raise the beef, to put it on your plate. From a health standpoint, CLA is extremely good for you. Conjugated linoleic acid is much, much higher in grass-fed beef. If you think about the natural state of a cow, they have a rumen, that's one of their stomachs. Their digestive system is based on grass. It's not necessarily based on grain. Grain helps the marbling of a steak. It makes them get bigger faster. Like, there's nothing wrong with grain going in it, but they need additional grass going into their body. Grass-fed beef is better from every single angle. The 7 p.m. rule was another one that we wrote down that's completely bunk, but what are we up to? 12:59. Do you guys have any questions? Please comment on this stuff, guys. Please share. Please help us out. We do this to inspire the experience you want to live. I don't know how inspirational this one was, but hopefully people can kind of wake up to it a little bit. 100% of your fat content, 100% of that is based on your body. I don't care about genetics. I know some people gain fat easier than others. Some people lose fat easier than others. It's always going to come down to you. Being frustrated about it isn't going to help anything. Being sad about it isn't going to help anything. Playing the victim isn't going to help anything. Feeling guilty because you ate some cookie, that's not going to help you either. Errors are there for a reason. They're there to learn. And if you can get clear with what you want, and you can get clear with who you are, I think that you can make a big difference in your own life, and you can do a lot of good things. There is a delay. This is the most liked live video yet. All right. Pre and post workout foods. Amanda, how are you? Amanda's awesome, guys. Go ahead and click on her page. Go ahead and click in the comments where it says Amanda Scott, and go on there. She is doing a run to raise money for MS research. It's a terrible disease, degenerative disease. It takes lives away from people and families. It is the complete opposite. To me, like I said earlier, to me, life is 100% the experience that you're having right here, right now. And I guarantee you cannot live the life that you want to live with MS. And it seems like, to me, from all the stuff that I've read on it, it seems like it could be a curable disease eventually. But pre and post workout foods. Click on Amanda Scott's stuff and just see a link on her Facebook, right, Amanda? The pre and post workout foods. If we're talking pre-workout, we want. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. We're doing a live feed, so.
Sorry?
You're getting in on a live feed.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, cool. Say hi to everybody.
What's up, y'all?
All right, so pre-workout is extremely similar to your post-workout, probably. So it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. If you're talking pre-workout, just pure pre-workout, that would, this is one of those scenarios where the status quo is actually fairly accurate. You do want a decent amount of carbohydrates going in before a long run or before a lift. But it doesn't have to be this mountain of pasta like everybody would make you believe. Your body has a certain amount of glycogen already in it, and you would have to. The wall that people experience in marathons, that's really where you're starting to hit that lack you're starting to deplete your glycogen stores. That's where it starts to get real painful. So that's not going to happen if you're running a cross-country race where you're not running for an extremely long period of time in a cross-country race. You're not going to tap into that. If you're in a wrestling match, you're not going to tap into that. You do want a certain amount of that if you're going into competition, those carbohydrates and that protein and that fat floating around in your blood so that you have immediate access to it. But I think for the most part, common layperson that is just trying to get in better shape, they don't need to bother with how they eat pre and post, or how they eat before they work out. They just need to get in there and do it. And after a workout, I think pretty much everybody's what they eat is set up for. Pretty much everything that we already eat is a good workout, is a good post-workout meal. Like Amanda's doing all these hard runs though, so she probably needs to eat a little different. It would be a good idea for her to have some kind of amino acid going into her body while she's running. Just try to be a little bit. Yeah, they'll be able to hear everything. Like you walking around right now, they'll be able to hear it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you guys can talk. But just like anyway, we're almost done with it anyway. But
cool. Thank you.
Pre and post workout. This idea that you have to eat a mountain of pasta before and after, that's ridiculous. For me, I don't bother with it at all. When I was really going hard in sports, I would eat a mountain of pasta before and after. I would eat basically a pizza that night. I would eat whatever it took to try to get bigger, but I was trying to get bigger. I was playing football. If you're trying to lose fat, let's get a amino acid, branched BCAA, branched amino acid drink going into your body while you're working out. I think that solves pretty much everything you're trying to do. Maybe a half a turkey sandwich an hour before, maybe the other half an hour afterwards. But at the same time, you might as well just eat lunch and eat dinner. 3 meals a day. Eat your vegetables. Have moderate levels of meat. Fat is not bad for you, but it doesn't mean that you get to eat a pound of butter. It's like a lot of this stuff just really isn't all that complicated. I think people are really trying to make it way too complicated. But anyway, please share this, guys. Comment below. Comment if you hate it. Comment if you love it. Share if you love it. Share if you hate it. Tell everybody why you hate us. Doesn't bother than me. I need some haters. But we're going to sign off. If you like our message, let us know. We do this to inspire the experience you want to live.